Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Problem Solver Politics live stream. I am your host, Cardin Ellis, with none other than the illustrious, the intelligent, the articulate, and erudite Cody the Oracle.
You are too kind. If you could also mute your monitor, I think it's still playing these.
Oh, crap. How do I do that, bro?
I just mute the computer.
How do I do that?
I'm trying to teach Cardin how to use a Windows-based computer. Just
no,
go to
really
your.
bad. What do I do, Cody?
No, you do it through the computer, okay? So you click on the bottom right. There'll be a little thing that looks like a microphone or a speaker. Click on that and just make it thing.
Oh, but it won't let me, Cody. Is it a touchscreen?
No, you should have media controls in the keyboard.
Oh, wait, now it's going. No, see, my speaker's going down. See, it's on the BenQ coming through for me. Dude, look at that. Did you see that, Cody? Who says you can't teach an old dog new tricks? That was epic, dog. Like, on the fly, I did that. I'm really proud of myself right now. Just tell us what's going on.
I think in that keyboard you have, actually, there should be a little, like, roller thing. And if you
No, that's your old keyboard. Oh, wait, is this thing it?
And if you just roll up and down, that should control audio.
Yes. But nothing's coming up on the screen. Oh, wait, it is. Wicked! Oh, this is almost as good as a Mac. This whole Mac to PC conversion.
That's a, like, $4 keyboard.
Yeah, it's... Hey, what can I say?
I'm just saying. That's...
Baby steps, Cody. Baby steps. Oh, this is probably I'm going to get ripped in the chat for this one. That was bad. That was totally bad. So, JFB, thank you so much for the comment that the cameras are just so good. Look, this is where all your donations go, guys. Literally, we are constantly trying to make this a better viewing experience for you guys, an easier broadcast experience for us. And yes, we've recently converted to the Sony mirrorless system. Keep those super chats coming because that's how we fund all of this expansion. The good microphones, the good cameras, the whole 9 yards. And yeah, we're getting rid of all of our old CCD cameras and replacing them with these guys, the sick mirrorlesses. And if any of you guys want to know a little bit more information about what equipment we use and you're kind of into that kind of thing, hey, just send us a super chat. We'll gladly hook you up. And I might do another members only video too, just showing around the studio. That's pretty sick. So let us know if you're interested in that and we'll see if we can't hook you up. So Cody, what are we talking about, my man? Boom. Hit it.
Well... Sorry, I'm just going through a couple things. Well, a couple things. We'll go through, I guess, the main thrust of the story. But basically,
I'm legit worried about this, bro.
Well, this has some precedent. So I guess we'll start with the earlier part of the story. So going back, this is from April of this year. So April 1st, I believe. Mayor Garcetti of Los Angeles started threatening to shut off utilities of non-essential businesses violating the safer at home orders. Now, this was April 1st, so this is much closer to the beginning of this. Says here that LA Mayor Eric Garcetti had authorized the Department of Water and Power to shut off service to non-essential businesses that continue to operate despite the strict safer at home restrictions. So now here we are, a couple days after the start of August, so a few months later now, and Mayor Garcetti's came out with his new stance. We'll get into kind of the impetus for this, and I mean, it is a crazy story. Like, are you aware of the party that kind of sparked the whole thing? The party that took place at the house in the picture, Cardin?
No. What was it?
Okay, we'll go through.
Oh, my gosh. Wait a second. I know that exact house.
Cool.
That's right off of Mulholland and next to a customer of mine. That's actually in the most expensive area code in L.A. Holy smoke. I know that exact house.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get into it because I think it's interesting. But we'll get into it. So here we go. So, Los Angeles police can shut off the water and power to homes hosting parties, mayor says. I want to go more through it. How come when it was businesses, it was the Department of Water and Power, and now when it's homes, it's the police will be coming and doing it? Like, they ramped up from the Department of Water and Power just being like, well, don't provide them service, to, like, police come and turn off by force. We'll see if that's just a labeling thing. So, Eric Garcetti announced his measure amid reports of hundreds gathering at mansions that have become nightclubs in the hills. The Los Angeles mayor has announced a crackdown on house parties, authorizing the city to shut off water and power to homes that host events following reports of hundreds of people gathering in violation of COVID regulations.
Yeah.
These large house parties have essentially become nightclubs in the hills, Eric Garcetti said on Wednesday, arguing that events can become super spreaders of coronavirus as bars and nightlife in the city remain shut. Starting on Friday night, so not tonight. Hey, throw the biggest rager you can tonight, people in LA, I guess. Tonight's okay. Police are authorized to request the city's Department of Water and Power. Okay, so yeah, the police they can request that the Water and Power disconnect service to houses and businesses within 48 hours. They do mention that, of course, the unusual threat comes as Southern California continues to battle an alarming resurgence in COVID-19 cases. Now, this is the one thing I want to bring up here. Garcetti specifically pointed to a gathering Monday night at a mansion in the posh Beverly Crest neighborhood where hundreds of people appeared to have partied without masks or social distancing. Helicopter news footage showed a DJ in a balcony, people crowded around a pool, and a food truck and dozens of cars on the long driveway. The party ended in a shooting that killed a woman and wounded 2 other people. Officers have been called. We'll go through the party more in a second here. They also mentioned that Jake Paul was recently why Jake Paul got his house. The Paul brothers, I believe, both had their things raided by the FBI now. Was it parties? Was it riots? Was it weapon trafficking? I've heard every single thing. Who knows? But what I want to get to, it's so interesting here, is I think this is one of those interesting...
Hey, can I just make one statement before you say something that's interesting?
No.
This is my take on this. Okay. The new annoying, crazy Christian necklace or pearl necklace clutching people that used to be annoying in the 80s are now all Democrats. I mean, we literally made a song. The Beastie Boys literally talked about you got to fight for your right to party, okay, against all the Christians trying to shut down MTV and all these psycho conservatives. And now you actually literally have the left shutting down parties. You know, I mean, from a social perspective, it's at best an annoyance and draconian. From a constitutional perspective, I have massive problems with this because Jonathan Trejo asks in the chat, he says, oh, is that even legal? No, it's not. We have freedom of assembly in this country. They did this exact same thing to Martin Luther King. They called it injunctions. They said for safety reasons, we can't have more than 4 African Americans in the same room together. It's an injunction. And his famous speech where he says, I have been to the mountaintop, all right, is literally because of court injunctions against the freedom of assembly. So no, it's not legal. Nobody that declares themselves a Democrat has any claim to any liberalism or love of their country and the Constitution, any of that crap, if you do not absolutely, completely condemn this 100% top to bottom.
I appreciate that we immediately ramped it up to 1,000 and made it a hyper-partisan issue. So there we go.
No, it's not hyper-partisan. This is everybody.
It's the rest.
Martin Luther King was not some right-wing SJW.
It's the wrestling match equivalent of just hitting a guy in the head with a sledgehammer as soon as the match starts. Like, well,
if you're calling me a sledgehammer,
what else can you say now? What else could you say? Is there anything else besides, I would say that I don't think when Beastie Boys are writing their song, there was a global pandemic going on. And I think it's why it's a bit more nuanced and interesting than kind of they're evil and bad for restricting our rights. Because there's the obvious argument of trying to prevent coronavirus from spreading and saying, well, if we're going to close bars and nightclubs and then people just basically go to people's houses to pose the issues of bars and nightclubs, we want to be able to stop this. I understand that, right? But that is one of the crazier extremes. Not prosecuting, not throwing you in jail, think about that. They will cut the water and power off. That is what's weird to me. First of all,
what if there's like grandma upstairs?
Exactly. What if there's people who live in the home? But also,
what if somebody's on a freaking ventilator, dude? Like seriously, what if? No, but listen.
Again, I'm glad we've ramped it up to 1,000
What if
already.
rich grandma? No, this happens all the time. Come on.
What if a dead man switch is hooked up to a nuclear bomb, and if power gets surged to that house, the nuclear bomb?
You went to parties like this in high school. Okay, you went to parties like this in high school. What if...
Not in the mansion. I did not go to a party in that mansion in high school.
Okay, but what if there's some elderly person that's got dementia? Like my grandma lived with us for a year and a half before she died. I've been to houses as a pest control professional where there's been somebody that's hooked up on hospice in the house, and you could do anything in the freaking living room if you wanted. So what if there's some young kid, parents are out of town, grandma's hooked up to a ventilator upstairs, he decides to have a party, 20 or 30 people show up was all he was expecting, but it ends up being 40 or 50. Eric Garcetti goes full draconian psychopath and says, shut off their water, I'm going to show them, shuts off the water and shuts off the electricity, and freaking grandma dies on the ventilator upstairs. You can't tell me that's not a possibility.
Dude, I could win the lottery. That's literally a possibility.
Okay, well, they're always saying that we got to wear masks or you want to kill grandma, wear a mask. So if we want to talk about killing grandma.
All I'm saying is before I even finish walking through this, we've turned it up to 1,000. Garcetti's a psychopath killing grandma. I just want to go through. Now, I don't think this will literally lead to anyone's murders. I have a feeling there's human beings that would just say, well, before I turn the power off, what's in the house? Oh, someone will literally die if we do that. So we wouldn't do that. I don't think people are going to die because of this. But Dude. It is a really weird step. But hold on. What it speaks to me bigger, though, this is them kind of admitting they can't stop people. Because if they could stop people, they would fine you, they would arrest you. They wouldn't. There's no crime where the government cuts your water and power off. It doesn't exist.
Yes.
They generally have other ways of dealing.
You could poison the water source itself in an act of terrorism, and they wouldn't shut off your water.
Yeah, you could stab Mayor City. They don't lock you in your home and turn your water and power off. I mean, it's such a weird thing. But let's go through. So this is what sparked it. I mean, obviously, I don't have to do too much of a walkthrough of the fact that coronavirus exists. It does. That's one reason why. But this was the actual event. So this is an article from 2 days ago, August 4th. 1 dead, 4 injured after shooting near massive mansion party in Beverly Crest, where many seen without masks. One kind of fascinating thing about it is kind of how a lot of these elite exclusive mansion parties with drones and other just the greater prevalence of aircraft with news organizations like aren't as exclusive. Like you kind of just they can just see it. They have any of the photos. Something fun the photos for you guys. We'll go through this. 1 person was killed and 4 were injured after a shooting near a massive house party at a multi-million-dollar home in Los Angeles where there was little social distancing and even fewer masks. Just before 1 a.m. on Tuesday, crews responded to a reported shooting in the 1300 block of Mulholland Drive in the Beverly Crest. So like you said, on Mulholland Drive, that is the house. So one of the victims, identified by police as a 35-year-old woman, was in grave condition and later died. Let's see if I can make sure the audio is off. See if I can get this video running and see if I can show you guys a little bit or... Actually, I'm going to get some pictures. Here we go. Here's a video running, and you guys can see a little bit. I'll try to blow it up for you guys of what it looked like. I mean, it was a huge party. There was a ton of people there, and it was the kind of thing, like, you would not be allowed to do this anywhere in public in Los Angeles. The police would come shut you down. But this is an extreme. I mean, you could say it's a super crowded party. There's people, and you know what's funny? It's not even that crowded, really. There isn't people on every balcony. Like, there's people, but it's not packed. It's not people everywhere. Maybe this is later in the day. But this is what it was kind of in reaction to. And then also, you know, there was somebody who literally died in a shooting at the event. So it's another one of the reasons why they've been reacting to this the way they have. But, again, I mean, I just... Without, like... Again, without ratcheting it up to 10 million and talking about how it's literally going to lead to grandmas dying. Ironically enough, for somebody who seems to be very against these, how am I killing grandma? Now it's Garcetti. He's killing grandma. But no, what's weird is I just can't. Let me know in chat if this is something. I'm not the oldest person alive, Carl, you're a bit older than me.
Yeah.
Is threatening to turn residents' water and power off for... I mean, well, as far as I know, if you don't pay your water and power bills, there is
no, hold on.
There's like stuff
Hold on. They tried doing that in a little city you remember called Flint, Michigan, where people said, if you're not going to provide me with clean water, why should I be paying my water bill? So the city of Flint, after all these people started defaulting, said, you know what? We're going to shut your water off if you don't want to pay. And there ended up being this big class action lawsuit. The media came to everybody's aid. And the UN even signed a condemnation letter condemning specifically the city of Flint, Michigan for having turned off the vital natural resource. And you've got the leftist candidate for city council in our town putting out posters that say, we believe Black Lives Matter, no human is illegal. And the third thing on the poster is that water is a human right. So if you want to tell me that water is a human right from a leftist perspective, I will believe you. But there's no progressive in the chat, okay? If there is a progressive in the chat that doesn't agree with me, they're not really a progressive. If you want to say that water is a human right, and then you go out and your Democrat mayor shuts off the water, you have zero claim to saying water is a human right anymore. Zero claim whatsoever. So we have to choose as a society how we're going to do this. Is whoever's in power, can Trump just turn off the water of Rashida Tlaib right now? Can Trump just turn off Nancy Pelosi's water in San Francisco? Is that how you want to roll this thing now? Because that's what we're doing. You know what I'm saying? So I just want some consistency from these people, or I want them to shut up and admit they're just a bunch of power-hungry losers that have no principles and just will say anything that it takes to get power. So then at least I feel like I know what I'm dealing with here.
Sorry, could you really be more hysterical, please? I didn't
This isn't hysterical. Okay, well, you could have said that to Martin Luther King when he was condemning the injunctions against him. You could say, "Oh, Martin Luther, you're being hysterical, man. You're being hysterical.
Stop being more hysterical, Jesus." I don't know. I think it's more of a response. Interesting article was posted today in New York Times. I believe it's New York Times, the New York Times, LA Times. The New York Times posted this article today. Says, why influencers won't stop partying anytime soon. Creators in Los Angeles say that hosting and posting about big social gatherings is part of their job, coronavirus or no. So let's go down here. They just go on to mention that there was a big party at the Hype House, a Hollywood Hills mansion, where several top TikTok creators live for a birthday party. Some of you guys probably saw this on social media. Party. Another large party, but this is what I want to get to.
By the way, that totally looks like a typical TikTok star.
Mr. Petro, 21, said that for creators, such events aren't just fun, they're work. Our jobs entertain people, he said in a phone interview this week. We live with groups of people, and we are all intertwined for work. We can't put our entire lives on hold for a year and not make any money.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's weird that only TikTok millennial influencer millionaires are the only people being asked to put their life on hold. And you know what? So it is pretty unfair that we're asking vapid morons who party on camera for money to put their lives on hold. But anyway, I digress. And then they have some footage here, I think, from the party. Let's see, to show stuff like this. I think it's even worse. Like, how are people not going to hate you when you look like this and you're playing beer pong? Like, bro, yeah, what's up? Like, yeah, like, oh, coronavirus sucks.
Hey, can I make some defense of these TikTok people though, briefly, and switch to the total other side? Like, here I was, the old man, yelling at the kids to get off their porch 5 minutes ago, but I was having a really interesting talk the other day with my buddy who was the creative director of frickin' Riot Games. All right. And we were talking about, some of the generational divides that exist in the artists and in Hollywood and so on and so forth. And he made kind of an interesting comment. He said something to the tune of, well, millennials aren't interested in, learning this stuff and doing this stuff. They're interested in being internet famous. And I said, no, hold on a second, bro. I said, hold on a second. The older generation and these older industries have not done a good job of incorporating new. What's so funny, man? You just, as soon as I start talking, you're busting up laughing over there, and I'm not getting my thought out.
I'm not even. I apologize, I'm not listening, but sorry, I'm just reading through some of this article ahead, and some of this stuff. I'm just hilarious, dude.
Okay, well, I feel for some of these young kids because they've been told to go to college. They've gotten indebted with student loans.
Tell me if you feel for Malik Ernest right here. Malik Ernest, a 25-year-old creator in Los Angeles, has attended several influencer parties in recent months. It's like COVID isn't a thing when we're at them, he said. He said he tries to stay responsible, but said that showing face at events has helped his career. Mr. Ernest said that the apologies some hosts and attendees have issued are placating and not a sign that behavior is changing. Quote, I see these tweets. I've seen influencers get called out and apologize. Then I see them at a party the next weekend. It's just a safe face. They say whatever they need to say on Twitter and Instagram, then live their life. These kids have been trying to be big on social media for a long time, said, sorry, this is a different person, but yeah. How hilarious is that? I like this stuff. It's like coronavirus isn't even a thing when I'm there.
Well, it's the only place you can make a living as a young person who's got any amount of talent. I mean, NBC ain't going to take you. They want to make another Grey's Anatomy 3. They'd rather make a reunion with a bunch of washed up actors from the 80s than to make something new and fresh and hip because everything's politically correct now. All right. So the only place you can as a young person with any talent make any cash is online where you're safe from the boomers still, kind of. They're infiltrating, but the only place where you can actually do wild, cool, crazy stuff now, like TikTok profiles. I've been amazed at what these young kids are coming up with on TikTok. It's mother freaking hilarious, so politically incorrect. And the only reason why the boomers haven't caught up with it is because they're too stupid to get on the platform. So yeah, I give these freaking young kids a lot of leeway, and I agree more with the TikTokers than I do with Eric Garcetti, man. These are the freaking counterculture hippies of the 1960s right here. You are staring right down the barrel of the Rolling Stones, 1969. Right here, dog. This is the Frank Zappa. This is
You're just
the freaking.
Things. These are just words.
What'd you say? No,
these are just words now.
These are the Grateful Dead. These are the Rolling Stones. These are the counterculture misfits of the late 1960s. Are these motherfucking TikTok brothers and sisters?
These are the Rough Rider cavalrymen of Teddy Roosevelt.
I don't even know. Oh, what? That's like the Spanish-American War of like 1896 or something like that.
Just
dude.
words. These are the great purple people eaters of the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, we got a couple of super chats here that I'm going to address. All right, super chat number 1. I'm pro doing this for violating businesses. Why? Well, I mean, it just is. What if there's a gym that wants to open?
It makes more
shut
sense
their water
as
off?
an enforcement against businesses.
Oh, so it makes more sense to enforce businesses and people's livelihoods instead of their person. What? No. So I'm pro doing this for violating businesses. So you're going to tell me if there's a homeless shelter or if there food bank. Food bank.
What about grandma?
So there's a food bank.
What about grandma plugged into the machine?
I'm a leftist.
Is grandma plugged into a machine at the food bank, and when they turn the food bank power off, it unplugs grandma from the machine and she dies?
Yeah. So if there's a
They're
food
killing
bank,
grandma.
if there's a food pantry, a privatized food pantry that gives out food to the poor, and by the way, these things actually exist, all right? We're going to shut their water off for giving out food to homeless people or middle-class single moms who've not been able to work, who've been forced to live in their cars because they're no longer able to make rent because we didn't pass UBI or any of the stimulus packages to keep them inside their houses and they're getting evicted. Yeah, okay, cool. So anyway, I'm pro doing this for violating businesses. You'd have to have an anti-business frame of mind to even make that statement. But who refuse to follow even basic guidelines. Look, freedom of assembly is a basic guideline. I want you to follow the basic guidelines of the Constitution. And freedom of assembly is sacrosanct, okay? You don't get to be a white racist mayor in 1964 Louisiana and say, no, these black churches. Oh, no, it's dangerous. There's malaria in those woods. Don't you dare assemble no more than 4 together.
Carden,
you know
before we turn it up to a million, let's try to get through the entire question.
Okay, fine. But against for homes, do you feel there's a difference? Philosophically, no. Practically, yes. But philosophically, no.
So turning off the water to a bar that's not supposed to be open is philosophically the same as shutting off someone's power to their home. For having people over to their home. That's the same, basically.
I said practically, they're different. Philosophically, it's not different.
Philosophically,
because both are freedom of assembly. And by the way, why aren't we doing it to homes first?
Well, no.
Because aren't we supposed to be wearing masks inside of our house, even around our family, and socially distancing, like they've said in Los Angeles? So shouldn't we be shutting off to homes first? Because these bastards are not sitting in separate rooms?
I'm trying to just work through every point of the issue, but we have to... how was grandma being killed this time, okay? My point is this. I want to get to is because... Interesting point he brought up, and I think the point he's trying to bring up is this, right? It's one thing to say, hey, movie theaters don't be open, and they open, so you turn the power off so they can't run the movie theaters. Like, we said don't be open. It's one thing. It's another thing when people gather at homes, because, I mean, it's the reason why I don't like how a mayor or any politician can make laws like this. It's one thing to say, I'm trying to find a way to shut down these influencer houses that functionally, they work as functionally nightclub businesses. They're functionally a business, but they're in the home. And I want to find a way, and the only way we could do this is if I pass a law that allows me to shut down power to homes because they're functioning essentially. That's one thing. But when you basically put into law, or not law, but you give the police, it's another thing too, by the way. I don't know why Mayor Garcetti can never defund LAPD because who's going to request for water and power to shut off residents' water and power when they violate Garcetti's orders? But it's a weird thing, man. Like, seriously, what happens when... who gets to decide when something becomes a gathering that's Like, when is, having people over for
exactly.
a
No one
family
is to decide.
Yes, that's why
it's called freedom of assembly.
So we have a First Amendment. Yes.
Like, we are literally, like, this is literally what Dave Chappelle was talking about, that we have the Second Amendment in case the first one doesn't work out so well. Like, I have no idea what these Democrats are thinking when all of a sudden, I mean, they have absolutely bankrupt entire swaths of the population for no damn good reason. And so far, a very docile and trying to cooperate, generally Christian public, all right, has been going along with it. But now the state is straight up hunting you down. And like, this is like the opening of Terminator here in 6 months if these guys get their way. You know what I'm saying? We're going to have to be dodging in the rubble. You know what I'm saying? Did you associate with another human being? You know what I'm saying? How is this not the state that liberals feared conservatives would become in the 60s? Every book I ever read growing up in the 90s and the early 2000s about how states can become statist and oppressive and violate your civil rights is literally now Democrat strongholds. The bluer the state, the more they look like George Orwell's 1984. How is that not true? We have a mayor who's threatening to unilaterally, against all constitutional norms and laws, shut off your water and your electricity because he deems fit subjectively that your association with another human being is not fit. And how from a humanity forward is this at all human? How from a humanity forward perspective is this human? Like how? How is disallowing freedom of assembly human? You just have a woman who just lost her job. She just lost her livelihood. She's not able to make ends meet. And she wants to go get counsel from her church and religious leader and maybe go pick up some welfare because unfortunately the state welfare isn't helping make ends meet and she's got to pay her mortgage or else she's going to get evicted. You're going to tell her she can't go and ask for help from her church? Or they're going to shut off water to that church?
I'm not trying to defend Mayor Garcetti, but I just want to finish this article.
Okay.
So a quote from Michael Gruen, a founder of Talent X, a management firm that represents many TikTokers. It's tough to tell an 18-year-old who lives in LA away from their parents not to go out for 2 years. Do I wish there wasn't a party? Yeah. But if it's there, he's gonna film it. I'd rather him go, film it and leave than go party all night and not film it. What the hell does that even mean? He's just gonna party anyway, so these people can just do whatever the hell they want. Another quote from a TikTok star, Hootie Hurley. A lot of people are depressed. You can raise some people to be prepared to handle this. Every single person living a completely different life than they did 8 months ago. People handle changes and pressure differently. Some people crawl in a hole and isolate themselves. Some people party. I got to admit, like, stopping these morons from doing this stuff just because, like...
Dude, who's that e-girl, man?
Legitimately, the argument from this entire article is, like, I make money going to parties and filming it, so, like, it sucks for me to not do it, so I'm just gonna do it. And then people are just kind of, like, putting their hands in the air, like, well, like, they are kids. Kids will do it. It's like, what the hell? But my larger point is this. Nonsense like this... I cannot believe New York Times ran an interview. Like, I want to read this quote again. This is from Michael Gruen, a founder of Talent X, presumably an adult. I want to read this as the issue of going to a party in coronavirus. Do I wish there wasn't a party? Yeah. But if it's there, he's going to film it. I'd rather him go in, film it, and leave than go and party all night and not film it. I guess, yes. I guess operating under your client cannot restrain himself and must go to a party. It'd be better that he filmed it. But Jesus, like really? It's like, here's the thing though. Now, like, if too many of my family members gather in the wrong house and they shut the power off, I'm subject to that because, well, dude, everyone handles it differently. Some of us just gotta party. Now, Mayor Garcetti should never have gone this far with it because it's why give this powers to the... Again, I want to read how they characterize how this would work. And that is that police are authorized to request the city's Department of Water and Power disconnect. The police do this. I like America City's gonna like defund the police, but like at the same time, my police can now go request to have your residence's water and power turned off. So
who's doing this? The social workers?
Well, no.
When we defund the police, and it's next year.
When they defund the police, what they mean is they're gonna move funds away from policing the streets. Like policing, no more policing. Police will still exist, and they'll do things like shut your water and power off in your home. They're not gonna like be in the streets stopping crime or doing anything. Tell you what, they won't be shooting people. They won't be arresting people. They just won't be there. They won't exist. Instead, they'll be doing things like this. They'll be going around shutting off the water to your home, because you had too big of a gathering. So it doesn't make any sense for the state to defund their police too much, because, well, the state's basically yelling at clouds if the police don't enforce it. I know it's a dumb argument to get back to defunding the police argument, because it's been proven now to be very fringe, legit defund the police. It's like very few people are advocating for that. But even moving funds away, he's not going to move funds away from being able to have the police turn your water and power off in your home. Those funds stay. They move funds away from like having police officers in schools, having police officers patrolling streets, having police officers like maybe they shouldn't be on roads. But they definitely should be able to go to your house and shut you down when I say so. That's crazy.
How stupid do these cops feel right now? Like, honestly, crime in New York City went up. It was nearly 200% in homicides the weeks after they passed all this defund the police nonsense. All right, in every major urban center that has embraced the defund the police ethos, there has been a drastic spike in violent crime. I mean, there are gangs that are settling scores right now because they know that they can. And it's a bloodbath out there in some of these neighborhoods. And you're a cop who's been fully trained at use of force tactics, engagements, the whole 9 yards. And instead of going out there and stopping gangland from happening, instead of going out there as a SWAT dude, you know what I'm saying? Confiscating AR-15s and the AKs, getting those off the streets, instead of busting the human traffickers. Oh, no, we're stopping TikTokers from shimmy shaking like doofuses on social media. Yeah, super-de duper. I bet you this guy was stoked that he passed that physical fitness exam so that this bonehead with a DSLR playing beer pong can stop making his TikTok video. I mean, look at this. That's what they're stopping.
I do agree. These do look like people you're probably gonna have a hard time reasoning with. I don't think they care if they say like, if you guys have big parties for like just kind of like no reason, like people might get sick with, like coronavirus for like no reason. Like, I get it sucks that like you can't rage, but like, it's
so let's just say you're a freedom rider.
But it's gotten to the point now where I think it's funny this is happening in LA. Let's not lose sight of where it's happening. LA has Democrat mayor, Chris City's Democrat, but LA also has a bunch of, it's like every 18 or 19-year-old moron who got popular on the internet from across the country is funneled to a few neighborhoods in LA where they have ragers when they're no matter what all the time, and they go, look, bro, I get it's coronavirus, bro, but I gotta party, bro. It's just how I deal, bro. It's how I cope. I gotta film it, bro, from a job. Like, this is probably, LA's probably in a city that, okay, would you not agree with this, Cardin? Would you not agree? LA probably has a bigger problem with 17 to 29-year-old morons moving in from other parts of the country to throw massive parties in rented houses.
Okay, but hold on. But look at this.
Other cities.
But hold on. Let's look at this from a legal perspective. How is this much different than the Freedom Riders in the 60s? They were generally young college students who were busted from other places.
Coronavirus.
What? There was no diseases? There was a worse polio and malaria epidemic in the 20s, 30s, and 40s.
Was the reasoning for getting rid of polio? Is that why they did it?
Okay, no, I got a better question. 2 years ago, it was 2 or 3 years ago, we had the worst flu season we had in years. It passed 100,000 deaths.
Coronavirus is the unique
That's
thing.
pandemic level. So in, let's say, 2015, should Trump been able to say, "Oh no, dude, we can't have these. We can't have these college students
2015 to be
coming in."
Obama.
Fine. Should Obama be able to say, "Oh, no freedom of association now"?
Well, dude, but no one. Now we're just talking like hypothetical. That never happened.
No, we're not talking hypothetical.
That never happened.
Okay, I have a question.
That
is
legitimately
a pandemic
didn't happen.
Is a pandemic justification to get rid of somebody's civil rights.
No, but instead, I don't know why you didn't start
so
there.
then no.
I don't know why you just make up some hypothetical that never happened.
So in the 60s, should we have been able to tell the freedom riders,
is not the
oh
same
no, those
thing.
civil rights
It's not
marches
the
are
same
dangerous.
thing.
Sometimes the cops, you know.
Who's stopping civil rights marches now? Tell me who it is.
I'm giving an example.
I'm
from the
giving you an
history.
example from today. Who's stopping the civil rights marches today? Tell me who it is for coronavirus.
They stop them all the time.
No,
They stop giving permits for people that want to have.
coronavirus stopping civil rights marches that are going on today, our modern version. Who is saying for coronavirus reasons you should not do these? Who is saying that? Anyone?
Oh no, unless you're Black Lives Matter, then it's all okay, and they don't even ask you for a permit.
Oh, okay, yes.
But if you're
So
having
it
an
is
open
different.
the economy,
It is different.
No, it's different based upon political party, which means it's no longer a principle but a power move that's politically driven.
Well, yes, if you're protesting, I'll tell you what, you can tell if you're protesting against or for your local government by if they let you do it or not. If you're actually protesting against them, they don't let you do it. Case in point, the lockdown protests. They were just stopped. You can't do this. No. Protests they don't disagree with and kind of agree with. They
So
just happen.
do we have?
not weird.
Okay, so then I just want to know some basics here, Cody. And
We
the
don't.
chat can ask me: is this a violation of freedom of
Yes,
assembly?
everything's been violated in the Constitution. Up
Yeah.
and down all the time. They have not started boarding soldiers in our homes yet. That hasn't happened yet.
Okay.
But here's the funny thing is they've already laid the groundwork for violating it. Like, everything's like, we don't have anything outlined in the Constitution really. We strive to be close, give it a best shot. But like, no, none of it's actually there. Literally none of, maybe some stuff, like some the more basic amendments, but I don't know. People for the most part agree with it. They say it's fine.
So, got an interesting super chat here from Sly Cactus. Thanks for coming through with us, Sly Cactus. It says, grandmas are overrated anyways. LOL. That's brutal, but funny. Curious Cactus question. What would happen if no one votes in the 2020 election? Actually, I know the answer to that. There is a structural answer. By the way, it would be the same answer as if there were a tie. If no one voted, it would count as a tie between the two candidates who were indeed running for presidential office. And what would happen, Cody?
Is it like swing vote with Kelsey Grammer?
Kinda. No, well, not with Kelsey Grammer. That was with not Kelsey Grammer. That was with
Kelsey Grammer was one of the guys in swing vote.
Oh, I thought it was Kevin Costner. Or were both
and
of
Kevin
them?
Costner and another guy.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken, then doesn't it go to the House of Representatives and then they vote, and then if it's a tie,
Does Nancy Pelosi just become president?
No, it goes to the Speaker of the House who has to choose. And what's hilarious is the Speaker of the House, according to the Constitution, doesn't actually even have to be a member of the House of Representatives. Like, they could call Kanye West to be the Speaker of the House if they all voted on it. Now, traditionally, they haven't done that since like the 1800s, okay? For the past 150 years, the Speaker of the House has always been a member of the House themselves. But in the Constitution, it doesn't require that the Speaker of the House is actually a member of Congress. And so I believe if it were a tie vote, it would go to Congress and they voted out. And if they all tied, I believe the Speaker of the House would have to choose. If there's a constitutional lawyer in the chat, tell me if I'm wrong, okay? But yeah, that's what would happen, Sly Cactus, if I'm not mistaken. Thank you very much for the super chat. Sly. So anyway, Cody, I'm fired up about this, dog. I'm fired up.
Clearly. I have a question.
Okay.
I have a question. How many homes have water or power shut off under this ordinance, you think? Over, under 1.5?
I don't care. The fact they even thought it was
Okay.
fit to print as a threat
Moving
shows
on.
that these people are not
Moving
American.
on from your noted disagreements.
Okay.
Over, under 1.5 actually have houses shut down like this. What do you think?
Over or under 1.5?
Yeah.
Oh, I bet you they probably haven't done it to anybody yet.
No, but by the time over lifetime of the bill, lifetime of the decree, whatever this is, lifetime of the announcement.
decree by the king
Yeah.
Garcetti.
How many houses they actually do this to, you think? Projecting
Zero.
forward?
Zero.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I probably would say around 0 too, right?
Well, no, that's just because you have a benevolent view of the world. In this case, I want to see. I want to see how many have they done it to.
Someone took an over. Got an over. We got an under. I mean, like, I feel like it's the kind of thing where it would be like either less than 3 or more than 10. You know what I mean? I can't see it being something that becomes. It would either be something that became common and they would abuse the hell out of it, or it'd be something they basically never do. Because it's open to be abused like crazy, man. I mean,
so we got an interesting
I've
comment.
had like 15-person gatherings with my family members recently in the last few months.
Yeah,
that happened. It's like if they shut like my family members like water and power down for it. It would have felt.
Our family dinners are more than 15 people.
Yeah. It was like my grandparents' birthday. Like they shut down my grandparents don't get power anymore because they had a birthday. Like this is ridiculous, right? It's starting out. Here's the thing. I can't imagine they would do stuff like that. I think they're probably in the mind of Garcetti. I hope he's talking more about like this kind of stuff. And he's thinking more of like this kind of type of people doing stuff like this. I would hope this is the idea, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I still feel like either is going to be a couple houses like this and then nowhere else, or it really does get bad. But I think it's way closer to 0, definitely 0, maybe 1 than anything else.
So we got a super chat here I'd like to address. JFB, thank you very much for the super chat. Says a Georgia school suspended students for showing their crowded halls and no masks. Okay.
Yes, I saw that. It's funny.
Israel cases spiked to U.S. levels after they reopened schools. Okay,
Yes.
yeah.
And then
that makes sense because we have a virus amongst us, and until it infects everybody it's going to infect, it won't stop.
Yeah. And he continues to ask, should we delay for a year?
Oh, should we delay for a year? Is that even really a question? Like flu season comes every year. The virus actually evolves. And every year they have to make a different vaccine because the genes have mutated. So the 2017 flu shot is not valid for the 2020 flu. So are you suggesting that perhaps every year we should shut down for a year because there's a potential flu out there that might kill 100,000 people, like has happened in the recent past?
I believe he did not.
Should we have shut down 2014 for MERS? Should we have shut down 2012 for SARS? Should we have shut down 2010 for swine flu?
Hold on.
We should just shut down.
Hold on. For murders. Yeah, we should.
There's a murder epidemic. We should shut down for murders.
Not a pandemic, though.
Oh, yeah.
Keep that in mind. Not a murder pandemic. It's like I don't see why, because something's a contagious virus and it's kind of annoying, and like that there's stuff that you normally could do you can't do because of a virus. Like I don't know why that's like so hard to just like accept. Like yeah, it kind of sucks that it's a virus, and viruses like make it hard to be around people, and that sucks. But, like I do think it's fascinating. So for anyone who doesn't know what he's talking about, what he's getting to is this: there's a school that got posted on social media. Probably got posted all over the place. Here we go. Actually, wait. Here we go. Here's one of the photos. And it was of crowded hallways in schools in Georgia with kids taken the other day. Now, this is what I think is hilarious. This is what I love about awful leaders, I guess, and people that have no business being an authority at all. Check this out. At least 2 North Paulding High School students have been suspended. Why are they suspended? Oh, because they shared images of a school hallway jammed with their mostly maskless peers, and the principal had warned other students against doing the same. Hold on. Did these 2 students decide to start school back up again? Did they decide, hey guys, everyone take your masks off and funnel into this hallway because of us? Yeah. Or did they just expose the fact that that was literally what was going on at these schools? I love this. The principal's like, how dare you show people that this is how we're managing it? You're suspended. Yeah. And he threatened other kids.
Now, look.
Best not do the same, y'all heard?
Like, what is this? From a private perspective, I think it behooves people to try and be cooperative. I'm completely against mandates from government about these masks and assemblies and everything like that. But if we're really trying to slow the spread, then fine, let's slow it. And let's try and voluntarily do this distancing measures. Okay? But also, at what point do we accept that this virus just has to pass through our population, and that we all agreed to slow the spread for 2 or 3 weeks, but now it's been 2 or 3 months? No, now what, is it going to be 2 or 3 years?
Well, then, check this out. So, facing a fierce online backlash, Paulding County School Superintendent Brian Otat told parents and guardians in a letter that the images, quote, didn't look good, but he argued they lacked context about the 2,000-plus student school where masks are, quote, a personal choice. I have a feeling that the reason when people said this doesn't look good is because it looks like masks are a personal choice. Like, what the hell is this? Stuff like this is the most crap nonsense that goes on every day in this country on way worse, bigger scales than this. But the kids got suspended because they just posted pictures and showed people what was going on. And the principal's like, well, yeah, yikes, you're not supposed to be showing people this, so you're suspended. Don't show people that. Look, I know it looks bad, but it lacks context. Masks are just a personal choice. Oh, I want to see if they have more pictures on this. They don't. We'll go through more of that in a minute. But what a ridiculous story, man. I still can't believe that. They pack a bunch of kids into hallways. People look at that and say, optically, we don't like how that looks. Superintendent admits optically it doesn't look good, but, whatever. Okay. Listen to this. Hold on. Hannah Waters, 15, wore a mask as she captured the inside of her school. On Wednesday, she ended up with a 5-day suspension for violating the district student code of conduct. The rules bar students from using social media during the day or using recording devices
garbage.
Without the permission of an administrator.
That's garbage. That administrator should be the head news.
This never happens.
That's like anti-whistleblower, man. I got to tell you.
That is
so garbage. That administrator is such and that's an unconstitutional law. Like, I'm sorry. A constitutional lawyer.
Protecting minors' rights, probably.
Okay, no, but the thing is, it's just, this is kind of a vulgar analogy, but it's like, it's not statutory when it's minor with minor. Okay, you get what I'm saying? I don't think minors taking pictures with other minors. Oh, okay, I get it, but I'm just saying, you can't tell me that the nature of that law of kids not using social media, all right, was meant to keep kids from blowing the whistle on what was perceived as bad public policy. Because if we started and now fine, if that wants to be the policy, that's cool. This girl's civil disobedience leveled her 5-day suspension. But let me tell you, if I were looking to hire somebody in my company and that showed up on their background check, I'd say, hey, yo, what'd you get suspended for? And if they said I was blowing the whistle on bad COVID procedures and I used social media to do it, I'd be like, awesome, you're hired. You know what I'm saying? I believe in civil disobedience, baby. You know what I'm saying? And if she civilly disobeyed a bad administration rule, I'm 100% behind that girl that blew the whistle, man. Regardless of what you think about her position, I'm 100% down with that.
Listen to this.
What?
Apparently the principal made this declaration over the intercom. Anything that's going on social media that's negative or a like without permission, photography, that's video or anything, there will be consequences. That's what the principal said over the intercom to the students.
This principal is a D-bag par excellence.
How awful. It's insane.
This is like the guy from Ferris Bueller. Like, this literally is that principal that you don't think exists until an article like this comes out. You know what I'm saying? It's like the guy from Ferris Bueller. By the way, if you're not catching up with Sly Cactus in the chat, Cody, you need to. He said something hilarious. He said, I'm going to butcher this, but love the comment, Sly. Said something to the point of, bummer this flu didn't cover the pandas, or else it would be called like a pandemonium. I'm loving it, dude. See, there's a Venn diagram in the world, all right? In this circle right here is dad. In this circle right here is jokes. And in that middle, that's where the magic happens, man. That's where the magic happens, Cody. Dad jokes. I can't wait until you're a freaking dad and I hear your first dad joke, Cody. I'm going to I'm going to roll in my seat. Just roll in my seat. Anyway. Should I ask some questions, Cody? Or are you still reading that article?
No, I was just... what a ridiculous story, man. I love how they ask like a lawyer, and he says, I'll just read it. He says, from a rights perspective, the question I would have is whether or not the schools exercise similar discipline for other students who have posted anything during the school day, especially instances of people posting favorable things. Exactly. No one's been suspended for 5 days because they posted a picture of their test they're proud they got a good grade on at school. No one got suspended for 5 days. Yeah. It violated it was literally a picture of kids in a hallway. Just like kids walking in a hallway.
No, that
a public place, a public school.
That right there is a 4th year of law school student's dream project. Let me just scour the social media of all the kids that go to this school, show all the examples where positive news has been posted during the day, okay, and screenshot all those posts, and then show how this person got suspended for selective enforcement of the non-social media law, and then have it be a civil rights lawsuit that ends up going straight to the Supreme Court, seeing whether or not administrators are actually allowed to try and regulate social media, especially now that media includes press. I think to a certain extent, this might be a freedom of the press question.
When does grandma die?
You know what I'm saying? Dog, you laugh at this, man. You laugh at this, but it's straight up real. So anyway, Joshua Her asks a deep and pertinent question, Cody. Thank you for the super chat, Joshua. He asks, what will Cody's first dad joke be? Cody, hit us with a dad joke, right? Dog. Hit us with a dad joke.
Well, it's fun. I honestly, I don't know what they are. I couldn't tell you. Possible.
Okay, try this one out. Well, your son has just learned how to speak.
After you.
No, your son has just learned how to speak, and he comes up and he says, "Dad, I'm hungry." What do you say? What do you say, dude?
I say, I feel like it's.
What do you say, man?
Well,
Come on, you got to do it.
Hi, hungry.
Ah!
But is that really like a dad joke? Like,
yeah, dude, that's dad joke 101. That's like when they're teaching beginner courses in dad jokes. And that's a bad dad
when
joke.
a student asks teacher if they can go to the bathroom and they go, I think you mean may you go. Or I don't know, can you? Dude, that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, can I go to the bathroom?
That's when it's
I don't know, can you? Yeah, dude, that's straight up like 1972 dad
You know who wrote that book, How to Win Friends and Influence People?
Yeah, not making dad jokes.
The complete opposite is, oh no, can you go to the bathroom? That's the complete opposite probably of how to make friends.
Yeah, well, dads aren't trying to make friends; they're trying to make obedient subjects.
Good way of putting it. Dads aren't trying to make friends. They really don't. They're kind of like later part of their life.
Oh, dude, that's pretty hilarious, man. Interesting comment in the chat about Joe Biden's dad jokes, man. What must those be like? Who tells a better dad joke, Trump or Biden? Maybe that should be the new debate. Maybe we should just have a Zoom chat where they're both wearing masks because, it's the new sign of virtue. And they just start riffing dad jokes and have like a staring contest trying not to laugh. What sayest thou, Cody?
Yeah. Let's do it.
You stoked?
All
right. So keep the super chats coming, guys.
I can't wait.
We got like 5 more minutes here.
I cannot wait for the Fly Characters $5 super chat. Thank you. It says, don't worry, Cody. I'll help you out when you become a dad. Thank you very much.
Yeah, who is a dad actually in the
Thank
chat?
you
How many
very
dads do we got? How many dads do we have?
I want to, honestly, how about this? I want to talk about, what happens every time we do a live stream? We get to the last 10 minutes. I'm like, I wanted to talk about something, and I could not think of a way to start.
What is it?
Well, I'm not going to pull an article and get too deep into it because I talk about it tomorrow. But apparently Joe Biden is not traveling. Like, nobody's traveling to be at the convention for the Democrats, I don't think. But it's just like more and more like Joe Biden, he's not announcing as vice president. It was supposed to be the first week of August. He said the first week of I don't know if he announced he was going to announce his VP the first week of August in the same series of press releases where he announced Kamala Harris as his VP. That never happened. But this week's over. He hasn't announced, and he's not going to actually be at the convention. I mean, I get not having people there, but they're just going to have Joe Biden Skype in. I don't know. It's weird, man.
So we got a super chat here from JFB. Thank you very much, JFB. Says, Trump's campaign wants to push the debates up. Okay. I agree they should as voting starts before they are initially scheduled. Do you think Biden will agree? Oh, that's true. With all of this early voting and mail-in voting, there's going to be people that potentially could cast their ballots before they've seen all of the debates.
Yes. That happened,
well, that's
I believe.
Not fair.
Where did that happen?
That's just pure gerrymandering, basically.
That happened in one of these...
Biden will never agree to it.
No, not even a debate. That happened, though, in one of these districts, or one of these primaries. I forgot what state. Let me guys know if you can remember early on, where it was like... I think it was an Amy Klobuchar dropped out. The state before she had dropped out, the next state that dropped out, I think it was South Carolina. It was like she dropped out so quickly, it was like people had voted for her. And I think Pete Buttigieg, but they dropped out so quickly and so abruptly, people had literally cast ballots for them before they dropped out. Like, people who maybe would have definitely otherwise voted for someone else, but they didn't know that they couldn't vote for these people. Now, obviously, you don't have to worry about someone dropping out with the general election for president. But yeah, like, who knows what'll come out before election day?
Yeah, it's bad, Cody. It's bad. I don't like it. But this whole, you see, what's interesting is, I'm super de-duper kind of progressive when it comes to the voting and getting everybody access to voting.
Super,
you know what I'm saying?
Super duper kind of one of my favorite.
Well, but the only thing is, I don't agree with having a vote by mail system that encourages partisanship. And you can't say it doesn't encourage partisanship to allow early voting before debates have even been held. You can't say that. And that is exactly what would be happening. So, I don't know. To me, that just doesn't seem like you're actually encouraging people to make a decision based upon candidacy. You're encouraging them to make a decision based upon party by having the debates be after. That makes the debates just a formality that we got to do because it's tradition.
For ratings.
Yeah, we all know how y'all are going to vote. Just go vote the way the mailers tell you to and the way the party tells you to. But yeah, sure, you guys got to debate because that's like a thing we do in politics now. But we all know where the real power is, and that's in voter registration and ballot harvesting. And so it doesn't surprise me that for the first time in my life, I've heard about a widespread campaign that will happen before debates have happened. The election cycle after ballot harvesting was legalized in California.
But yeah,
it doesn't surprise me.
You don't have to vote till election day. No one makes you. And I just think it's a weird system. I just don't. It's gonna suck, dude. Our mail system is just not good enough. Like, a lot of stuff's gonna be discredited. A lot of ballots are gonna get thrown out. They're gonna be counting forever. Like, it's the mail-in ballot stuff's gonna suck. It's the first time you do anything, it sucks. The Iowa caucus didn't go over so hot. I mean, like, geez, they've been doing that for 100 years, man.
Yeah, Guaraninos brought that up and said, dude, weren't you for the Iowa caucuses before? I'm like, heck yeah. Heck yeah, dude. A bunch of people screaming in the room. I'm back for verbal ballots. I mean, they still do it at the DNC. This is something that the Democrats do so much better than the Republicans. Oh, did they get rid of it?
Well, it's going to be online now.
Oh, yeah, but I think in the Democrat charter, this is why Eric Garcetti was able to pull a fast one and say that somebody won when they didn't win, because in the DNC platform for how they run their national convention, they still allow audible ballots where they just say, all in favor of candidate 1, holler. All in favor of candidate B, holler. And the person just has to listen and see the crowd if they're getting louder. And there was, I can't remember when it was, but Tony Villaraigosa was in charge of some kind of nomination process like 5 or 6 years ago at the DNC. And he totally lied and could tell that the crowd was voting louder for like the progressive candidate instead of the establishment Democrat candidate. I don't remember the exact scenario, but there was this moment in which it was obvious that the crowd was cheering louder for person B instead of person A. And he said that, the cheers unanimously choose person A. And it was like this big uproar. People were trying to take decibel meters to the cameras and prove that he was wrong and so on and so forth. But I got to tell you, that is something I don't think the Republicans allow verbal votes, and they got to get on that. All right, because that is cool. How awesome would it be at the Democrat convention just to be able to yell just like, ah! I mean, the Bernie bros would win everything, dog. The Bernie bros would win every election if they were verbal.
Just home run derby. Why don't we have a home run derby? Whoever's
Why don't they? Why don't we have Thunderdome fights, dude?
Whatever supporters, fans with the most home runs in 30 pitches. And if y'all are 30, you just keep going until eventually someone does it in 30, and then that's who's president.
Okay.
I'd be fine with that if our president could rip 30 homers and 30 pitches. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's the worst thing that happen.
And by the way, isn't that the worst, though? Like, I give credit to Fauci. He nailed his opening pitch.
No, he didn't.
Oh, he didn't?
I think Fauci's was not good.
Oh, no. Fauci's was... No, Trump nailed his opening pitch. Fauci
George W.
tanked.
Bush had the most important opening pitch of all time.
How so? Who is the best? Who's the best opening pitch? Because I got to tell you, it is
George W. Bush, the first baseball game in New York City after 9/11.
Oh, that is pretty prominent.
I feel like even ISIS would watch that video and be like, okay, that's a pretty cool moment.
All right.
That was
dude.
pretty cool for America. We still hate America. Like, still death to America, but like that was pretty cool for America. Even they'd have to like give it up to George W. Bush there. Even people like George W. Bush, like not personally, but like bombed in war crime, they'd be like, yeah, you got to give it up to him. That was pretty. It's like even people who hate George Bush, when they show the video of the people throwing the shoes at him and like he dodges them, people are like, yeah, well, I hate George Bush, but hey, you know, he moves better than you think he would. Moves pretty good for however old he was. You saw that stuff coming and boom, boom. I think like, he dodged one. Same thing. It's like even if you hate George W. Bush, like he's, you know, a war criminal. By the way, Donald Trump said he was going to throw George W. Bush in prison for being responsible for 9/11 or something when he was running for office. But even people like that would be like, you know what, that was a cool opening pitch. Good for George Bush. That was good for America.
Yeah. So, dude, it's embarrassing when they don't do the first pitch. Well, I just feel bad for him.
There's a couple ways you have to do it. First, you have to get the ball, but nobody. Okay, first is,
I would not, as a PR person, allow somebody to get on the mound if I didn't know they couldn't throw a line drive.
There's the actual pitcher's mound.
Yeah.
Then there's the dirt that kind of encompasses what the pitcher's mound is. Then there's the grass of the field, right? So first, it's like, yeah, nobody ever actually throws from the mound. Some guys will stand on the dirt. Most people stand like in the dirt. I guess some people throw from the mound. That's one. Are you actually, how far back are you throwing? Two, do you bounce it? Like, do you get it to them?
Oh, no, you got to get it to them or else it's not a freaking pitch. This isn't like Little League softball where you get a mulligan. This isn't bumper bowling. Dude, you got to get it to them. Like, if I was a PR person, I would literally, before I said yes to the email where they invited me to throw the opening pitch, I would say, okay, look, we're going out in the parking lot. All right? And I would take chalk and I would measure down the 100 feet or whatever the heck it is. And then I would have him throw me his first whiz banger. And if it didn't, boom, right in the pocket where a professional could catch it, I'd be like, you're not doing this.
You want to hear a funny story? Go back to George Bush.
Okay, what?
So the legend goes, building up the legend of George W. Bush here, but the legend goes that George W. Bush was underneath Yankee Stadium, walking into the tunnels, getting ready for his opening pitch. Big moment. It was the first like professional sports game in America, but like the first baseball game in New York City. Not the first in America, but the first baseball game in New York City after 9/11. 9/11 happened 9/11, but you know, in the fall, so towards the tail end of the baseball season, and they actually put it on hold for a few weeks, I think it was. Yeah. Just to, you know, they didn't want to have mass gatherings, didn't know what was going on. Anyways, a story that George W. Bush walking under the tunnels, he walks by Derek Jeter, Hall of Famer, very famous Yankee, one of the greatest Yankees of all time. And, you know, just like Derek Jeter just played it really cool. So, how you doing, Mr. President? And he's like, how you doing? And then I guess George W. Bush asked Derek Jeter, kind of joke, so any advice, you know, throwing the first pitch? And according to the legend, Derek Jeter just started walking away. And he turned over his shoulder and just said, don't bounce it or they'll boo you, referring to the ball. And then he didn't. And then the rest is history.
Don't bounce.
And then George Bush went on to kill many, many people in the Middle East with many, many bombs. But dude, before that,
you are savage, man. You're just savage. You mean Congress went on to kill many people with many, many bombs?
I don't know.
In the last time we actually declared official war.
I think Dick Cheney was totally fine, and I think parts of the executive branch were 1,000% on board with bombs being dropped. So,
yeah. So anyway, this has been totally awesome. And by the way, I love that story. Is that true?
I mean, I'm sure both of them will.
Don't bounce it or they'll boo you.
It sounds good enough to probably both agree to it. I heard it on MLB Network.
Well, then you know it's true.
Yeah.
It's like if Google tells you. So anyway, Yadenios asked, did we officially declare war? Yeah, we voted to go to war in Iraq. That was the last time I think we voted to go to war because Obama unilaterally decided to go to war in Libya.
Well, we stopped going to war. We just have the CIA.
Yeah, now we just have these engagements, you know. And I think the Afghanistan war was declared before the Iraq war because we already had a conflict going on there, I think. I don't remember.
You remember Saddam Hussein?
Yeah, but that was like 20 years ago. By the way, before we end, have you read his romance novel?
Saddam?
I read the opening title page. He wrote a romance novel while he was in hiding. And it's actually been published and it's available. And as a gag gift, my friend gave it to me. It's hilarious. Saddam Hussein wrote a romance novel.
Good for him.
Yeah. So last super chat right here. Thank you very much, Joshua Herr.
Talk about artistic expression. It's like when they found out that Osama bin Laden was like playing a bunch of video games and stuff when he was in his bunker.
Oh, that's pathetic. That's funny though.
Pathetic? What else do you do in a bunker, dude? It's not like it's not like he had. It's not like he was on vacation in Maui. He was in a bunker. What the hell was he gonna do?
Okay. So, Joshua Herr says, move from an electoral college to an electoral Thunderdome. Dude, I'm all about it. I'm all about it. Like, honestly, we need warrior priests back. Like, you talk being a monarchist, I think we need, like, charismatic tribal leaders back.
Unfortunately, you don't
dude,
get every now and then you get a. I agree. Who is the modern Vercingetorix?
No, and he
we
says,
should
look,
find them. They should
two
rule
nominees
over us.
enter, only one exits as president.
Yes.
Like, isn't that like all the time the leftists are trying to criticize Christians by saying evolution this, evolution that, natural selection this, natural selection that? Is that not political natural selection? I mean, raccoons go out and they eat the babies of other male raccoons in order to put the females back in heat so that they can that female can have his pups, right? So that's savagery. That is pure natural savagery. So shouldn't it be the Thunderdome of all of our leaders? Just like the Black Widows that come out and they'll eat their own young so that only the ones that are strong can escape, you know what I'm saying? To make sure the gene pool is as best as possible. So shouldn't we just have like this Thunderdome of politicians where they choose, do you want the left-handed weapon or do you want the right-handed weapon? We used to do this in medieval times, dog. We used to do this.
I'm all for. Recently, I've been getting very interested in, a former warrior emperor, Napoleon. Yeah, I think it. Like I said, man, if we're gonna talk about like theoretical governments, like I wish like these one in every 1,000 years super smart, big brain, genius warrior god people ruled over us for a couple decades. Every now and then, every like 1,000 years or so, that seems to work. Okay. But
so look, maybe we couldn't get Mortal Kombat back, okay? But this is the last comment that I'll read. Corona D's nuts. Great username on YouTube, bro. Says something really funny. Says, why not a wipeout style challenge and whoever reaches the end wins the presidency? You can even make bets and win
like Fall Guys.
I would be down with a wipeout
like Fall Guys.
Could you imagine the foam things? Now, see Trump, he's got height. He's got height going for him, but he's a big guy and he couldn't duck underneath some of those
height
things.
Would be bad for that.
No, for getting over the soft fuzzy things. That's an advantage. But he would be disadvantaged on the spinning things. And then Biden, he's kind of skinny. You know what I'm saying? Like he might be able to run and like zip between things. But if his dentures fell out, then he's screwed because while he's like fumbling around for his dentures and trying to remember where he was, he gets smacked in the head by the thing and end up in the pool. But that would be awesome. So I think Corona's D's nuts wins the award. Joshua Herr and Corona D's nuts just made my last 10 minutes. Cody. Anyway, we got to end it, bro, because I got to go. You have anything else you want to say?
I just want to wish the Lakers luck. I think they're playing tonight, and then I want to wish them luck in the playoffs.
Yeah.
That's about it,
All right.
Hope the Dodgers do well.
Okay.
I'm just glad sports are back. I really am.
Yeah, word. I feel you.
I hope football actually happens. I really do. I don't know if it will. I hope it happens.
Yeah. Well, it's been real, and it's been fun. And it's been real fun. This is Problem Solver Politics. We'll see you guys in the next video.